10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
Yeah, alright, so we are off in Encore mode. So anybody that has watched Sonic Mania before here, this is going to be completely different to what you guys are expecting. The levels are exactly the same, minus the fact that we now have Angel Island at last. Hallelujah. But what these guys are going to do is they're just going to race through here in about 15 seconds and go unlock the partner. In this case, it is always going to be Ray. You can pick Mighty if you want, but if you're going to go slow, don't do it. Just pick Ray. So what this is telling you now is that you can swap between your partners by pressing the Y button when both players are on the ground. Both players must be on the ground, otherwise you're not going to be able to access them, and you'll hear a lovely ding noise that you're going to hear throughout this run entirely. On top of that, the characters are going to be getting rid of Sonic, I believe. They're going to be using Ray and Tails for the majority of the run. So immediately switching off to Ray here, and we're going to be using him because of his glide mechanic and a lot of the partner swaps that you'll see taking place in some of the levels. So now that we've got the partners, we're going straight into Green Hill 1 here, and Ray, he's just going to fly straight over. You can see Super Mario World Cape style just right over there, keeping the speed as they go through, grabbing the speed shoes, as right now we are doing bad ending, I believe, so there will be no Chaos Emerald shenanigans this time. It's just get to the end as quick as possible. So both characters are trying to pick up the... Ooh, Zaxon grabbing Knuckles. And there we go, both of them grabbing Knuckles. I thought they would be grabbing Tails at this point. Dun, dun, dun. Leveling things on the fly. But just going to use Sonic here. Again, just getting the kill as normally on the boss. You want to hit each of them 3 times before they become invincible and hot and red. Nothing that we want there, but a smooth ant one for both players. We've got Joey there grabbing the item box just underneath. And goodbye, Sonic. We kill off Sonic at the start here just to switch to the next character available. In this case, it's Knuckles. So it's Knuckles and Ray right now. Nice jump by Zaxon there, just slightly quicker than taking the spring route. And then he's just going to walk his way across, using Ray to maintain as much momentum as possible, switching to Knuckles to grab the speed shoes, as he can bust through walls just by being near them.
It's really, really nice to see Ray's flying mechanic and how much it changed. That and the partner mechanic, just how much it changed the overall speed run of any percent for this game. Well, not any percent,
no,
but
definitely.
I guess bad endings the better way to say it.
No, definitely. The thing about Encore mode here is that, as far as I'm aware, Encore mode is down to about, I think, 42, maybe 44 minutes. The amount of things that you're going to see being skipped through these levels here is just phenomenal. Also, cutscene skips are now just a thing. You press start, you skip the cutscene. It's phenomenal. It's amazing. And they're done.
Joebaby flexing with that backward spin dash. I see you.
Yeah, it's actually got that too. So again, Chemical Plant 1 here. The guys are just going to be taking the quickest route through. Hopefully going to get themselves the big jump across with Ray. That way we're not going through any of the purple glue. Let's see, we're just coming out. Ah, no, there we go. Yeah, using the Ray's little hop glide there to cheese the system just a little bit there. Instead of going around and back up, you can just use the little updraft he gets on his flight just to get over these objects. Yeah, there you go there. A 42-12 with Claris at the moment. Just it's absolutely phenomenal run that you want to see.
Yep.
So these guys just doing the bosses. The bosses are relatively the same here. You just want to damage boost through them if you can. Just get the amount of hits that you need. Goodbye, boss. Away you go. And then this is where the fun begins, basically. From this point on is where we're going to see some of the amusing stuff. Because if you're a fan of Puyo, it's not going to be happening. But one thing we need to point out with Ray here, just quickly, is his glide only functions while you're on the screen. Unlike Tails, who can go off screen and still be flying, if you go off the top of the screen with Ray, it will force you to cancel the fight, and you'll have to just fall back down into bounds here. So you're going to see the characters getting stuck in the wall. Because they're then technically grounded, you switch to them, and walls just don't exist in this mode, so you're going to have some fun with this. I believe there's 3 that we do in this stage overall, and the last one is the most important one. So they're going to cut all the way up to the next set of flubber, and then they're going to take the right route instead of going left, and then just jump off the box into the wall using the Knuckles glide clip. And then from up here is where they're going to try and use the partners and get them stuck in the wall appropriately, jump down in time, switch up, and then position them correctly where they're going to go into the tube alongside Knuckles, and then because you've got control of the partner, you can hit the capsule and skip Puyo entirely. Like, it's done. Both guys getting a really fantastic stage time there, finishing it in less than a minute. So Studiopolis is our next stage here. And remembering Encore as well, not only have they given you the partner swap mechanics, but they've also changed the color palettes and the level layout slightly as well. Now there are certain enemies or item placements that are in the way that are just going to... They've changed the locations of some of the big rings, and just there's general shenanigans that can unfortunately cause problems if you're not expecting them. You can see both Zaxon and Joey there making sure they take the lower route so they're not getting hit by the bumpers that they've placed at the top for us. And then the rest of this stage will just be back to normal before we get down to the lovely boss fight. So taking the Knuckles route here with Knuckles and Ray, switching to Knuckles just to make sure that you're going to have the glide over the spikes.
Ooh, and a bit of an error there from Joebaby, but that's not too bad.
No, nothing major at the moment. Both of these guys should be getting to the boss at a relatively similar time here. But yeah, we've come up to this boss at the moment, so if anybody would like to plug their Coca-Cola sponsors, they're all good. This is the same, unfortunately. You will see Knuckles being killed off on this one, as the guys do have tails, and this duo is the duo that you're going to see pretty much for the rest of the run. It's the most broken pair in the game, simply because both their flights and Tails' hitbox comes in very, very handy. 3-3-3-3 for both. Yeah, we want to go super slow here. Now we've just got to wait this out. Ideally, you want to get the top missile or ones, but it's entirely just down to randomness. It's like, will you get it? Will it give you a good pattern? Who knows? Who did praying at the start? Joey playing dangerously though. He's just deciding, I don't want no rings. I'm living on the wild side. Thankfully grabbing some rings. I don't like doing this most of the rings.
Both runners showing off just their overall skill at the game throughout these early stages, you know. We get to see, like how you said, these Studiopolis, or not Studiopolis, Chemical Plant 2, we get to see like the first exhibition of some of the major glitches that come into use in the run over and over again. And I believe it is worthy to note that with Mania Plus, and even from the original Sonic Mania, this game has gone through a ton of changes, not only cosmetically, but mechanic-wise. Some things have been taken out with Encore mode, as Arctic mentioned. Some of the level layouts are changed, and some things were purposely changed to make speedrunners find new routes, which I honestly think is awesome, because growth and development in speed games is always a very healthy thing.
Definitely. I mean, what you're going to see coming up here is the pipe glitch that we were able to do, which would get our characters stuck in the kind of background foreground. Like, it went into a limbo state and allowed you to go through walls. That's gone. That is completely removed. But they gave us Encore mode instead, so you're just going to see characters get stuck in walls and then just vertically jump their way out of where they are. So slightly longer way of doing the level, but it's only another 5 or 10 seconds added on as to doing the level normally, which is about a good 40-50 seconds. Of course, most of these glitches that you are seeing in Encore mode are Encore mode exclusive, because they need to have control of a partner. And it's not just a case of like Sonic and Tails where you can control Tails' inputs to some degree. You need to be able to actually switch to the other character, which is why Encore mode has all these exclusive tricks. But one of the other things that's been removed from the game is jumping down slopes. Knuckles and Sonic used to have the ability to hold down and jump down slopes constantly to reach maximum speed. That has been removed from the game entirely. If you hold down and jump from a slope, you are going to fly off it, regardless of which character you are. It doesn't sound like much, but over the course of a run, it did save something about 30 seconds or so. So now we've got both guys coming into flying battery here. Again, Zaxon with the slight lead at the moment, just going to make complete light work of the area here, just with Ray's flight. You could use Tails' flight as well. It doesn't really matter which one you can use. Both of them are flying until the second part where you need to be Ray, because he doesn't get exhausted unlike Tails. So you can see him flying under the stage here. This is deliberate. He wants to make sure he stays down here as much as he can, because this skips a large chunk of the level, but you have to be super sure that you don't go too far down and hit the kill plane, otherwise you are going back to the start of the level. So you got to be super careful on how you're doing that stage.
It's fairly similar to the route that Knuckles used to take.
It is, yeah. The wind pressure is no longer a thing with Ray there, because he can just fight right through it and get himself all the way over. You're also seeing a little trick there where in flying battery, if you're pushing it against an item and you switch the character is immediately below where your playable character was. It saves a couple of seconds there.
If I'm not mistaken, wasn't that discovered by Claris?
I believe it was. Like, a lot of these things have actually been discovered by Claris.
Yeah, she's been a phenomenal resource for the community in terms of games. So
definitely,
it's definitely awesome to see your help. You know what I mean? A bunch of different people. Darkspine Sonic also comes to mind for finding a lot of things in these games.
Definitely. Claris is definitely a pioneer of Encore mode, I would say. Speaking of pioneers, we are going to see something really amazing in this stage. So the Ray's flight that we just saw in part 1 there is going to be put to full effect here in part 2, probably twice depending on which characters they're going to do. So at this section here, you're going to watch Zaxon hopefully do a dive down, prepare his flight correctly, making sure not to hit the kill plane that's just risen up with him, taking the dive straight through it, nailed it perfectly. He's just skipped about 3/4 of the level, doing a jump before getting sent up, hopefully grabbing the glide, unfortunately getting locked, having to restart the stage. So Joey in the lead at the moment, going for the same trick, manages part 1. Can he get part 2? Going for the boss skip here, same idea.
Wow.
And Joey gets it. Fantastic.
That is significantly harder than these runners are making it look.
It is completely and utterly insane trying to do this. A single mistake.
Wait, what happened to Zaxon?
Zaxon, he got soft locked. He got stuck. Unfortunately, he wasn't far enough over from the camera lock and landed above where the capsule is with the screen locked. So unfortunately, that's a soft lock. He just has to restart the stage and do it again. Meanwhile, Joey managing to nail it, no problem. Definitely one of the harder stages now.
This is another thing with Ray here you're going to see is a fairly similar path to what we would take as Knuckles in the original version. The nice thing is, though, since we have the partner swap mechanic, being able to use Tails makes it so that transversing this vertical section is just, makes it a breeze.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Press Garden hasn't changed particularly a lot between Encore and Standard, obviously, because it's a very vertical-based level. Partner swaps are used massively.
Yep.
So you can see the guys here just anytime they get a chance. And the way the partner swaps work is that if a character is off screen for more than 5 seconds, they do this kind of like Knuckles Chaotix reference where they jump back onto the screen and try and land where your character is. As long as you can then get into position where you are below a wall or just a solid object, your partner will get stuck in it. The challenge is basically then finding a foothold for you to land in while your partner is still stuck in the wall. Because your partner can jump out, or on top of that, your partner can also just despawn and you'll have to redo the trick again. So Joey just coming up to the boss here, you give him a wave, just wave to the boss. He's so happy. Unfortunately, that is now a forced cutscene. You have to wait. I can only assume it's because they're teaching you how to deal with the boss here. And then, yeah, you're just going to get the 6 quick hits there, hopefully with good control of both Ray and Tails, and getting a smooth boss fight. So, unfortunately, having to redo Chemical Plant, wow, we're miles behind. Having to redo the Flying Battery Act 2 there has given Joey a significant lead at the moment. He's got about, I think he would say he's got about maybe a minute.
Yeah, about a minute and a half lead.
But coming into Press Garden 2 here, again, different routes for each of the characters. Encore mode is one of these modes where having knowledge of every character really helps out, because as smooth as these guys are making this look, if you die and lose a character, it's very hard to get them back, because you have to go find another one of the character unlock boxes and then either kill off your current characters, which you probably don't want to do, or figure out a way to switch them out appropriately. So you want to make sure you're sticking with the right characters all throughout the run, but if it does go wrong in any way, that you have backups. Ideally, like for example, I would say go with Sonic because of his speed and the drop dash, but you want to make sure you have Tails with you at all times if you can. And Joey, just going to do the boss skip here. Just casually flying over where the boss is meant to spawn. It's not going to happen. Over the trigger, onto the capsule.
And why that works is because while the inactive partner, he is actually going off screen and positioning it in a way so that when you switch to the opposite character, you're not actually triggered into the boss area yet, so then you can just fly with Tails and go over and hit that capsule next to you.
Yeah, you're going to see that again.
Yeah, it was Oil Ocean, right?
Indeed, yeah. And it's put to better effect in Oil Ocean. But Stardust Speedway here is a very good representation of all the little changes that they've made in Encore mode here. They've changed the infamous spike room. It's now a lot of spiked platforms. They've put blocks that must be hit by the spin dash balls in the way. They've added just a numerous amount of things that just get in the way. And if you've got muscle memory built up from the original Mania, it's really hard to get out of that pattern and realize, okay, no, I'm actually playing Encore mode now. I can't do this the way I normally do it.
Ooh, and some good flight there from Joebaby. Just brilliant execution all around. I think everyone saw it coming that Ray was going to be one of the fastest, if not the fastest character. Just because of the way that in some of those tight crevices, man, just bouncing off of the top of the ceiling and really maximizing your momentum is so crucial in this run.
It is, yeah. Like, the anticipation for Ray, once we found out what his ability was absolutely fantastic. So you can see Joey just finishing Act 1 there, going to head off into Act 2. Act 2 is relatively the same as before. It's a very play thyself stage. You just go really, really fast, let the stage do what it wants to do. The main thing is you just make sure you don't get stopped by any of the active walls. But they have a very nice change to the boss that we're going to come up to.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the aesthetic change in this zone too. I think that teal just works.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the Encore color palettes are a nice touch. Yeah, Claris just pointing out there that you can't do the bottom route anymore because they've changed the level layout and the way that it works if that was the particular route that you took. Yeah, at the moment, Joey has a significant lead, but that was just due to an unfortunate accident with the Flying Battery 2 boss skip. It's still anybody's race, so there are a number of glitches that will result in a soft lock if you're not careful. So Zaxon can still catch up with this. He's not out of this at any point. So Joey here just using Ray's Glide to maintain as much speed as he can through the ascension of this area. This has been changed. This is still, like, this part of it is still the same. He is going to try and do the Silver Sonic skip here. He needs to get Tails off screen and then spawned into the wall above him there. Manages to get that. Now needs to go for the second part where he gets Ray off screen and then gets Ray stuck into the wall. Switches to Ray, and then you're now over the top of the area where Silver Sonic should be. He's now going to try and wait and just get Tails back here. Come on. Hey, there we go. So that skips the Silver Sonic fight there. You can see that was a number of partner clips to try and get through there. And your partner can be completely uncooperative at times. They can decide that they're just either not coming back or they refuse to go off screen. Very smooth second phase there, though.
Yeah,
that's a lot more dangerous than it looks.
Look, making them look like completely easy work. It is so simple to get stuck behind and end up falling in that pit, or getting even one of your jump inputs can feel like it gets locked out from time to time. So making that look just easy peasy.
That is like Sonic 3 Knuckles' final boss there. The left-hand side of the ground is falling away from you, so you have to make sure you don't get sent down there, or you will end up dying. A really smooth flight on Joey's screen there for the start of Hydro. Zaxon also going for the the Silver Sonic skip.
Ooh, and getting it nice and fast there.
He did. He got it very fast. Let's see if he can get a smooth fight as well. Hopefully he will. Again, oh! Okay, so both characters are now dead, which means he's going to be respawned back to the start of the fight, unfortunately. He has also lost Ray, as you lose your primary character. He will be able to get him back at some point. There will be an area. Joey waiting for a bubble just to be super safe there. But unfortunately, he's now got Sonic, and he's just going to have to use the drop dash to get himself back up there. As we were saying, commentator's curse again right there. Getting knocked over to the left-hand side is basically death because the ground is falling away from you.
Yep. Sadly showing off just how brutal that boss really can be. Ooh, and a good use of the path swapping there from Joey. He's going to be coming into the boss here shortly. And as Zaxon had mentioned earlier, when they come into the next phase of this boss, or is it Act 1 or Act 2?
It's Act 2, they're doing that one. Yeah, it's Act 2, the glitch you're thinking about. But Joey, they are very carefully and cleverly dodging the question mark block that is placed right before the checkpoint. Everybody's intention there is just to spin dash straight into the cutscene. Of course, if you spin dash, you're going to hit that box, and you're randomly going to swap out either Tails or Ray for Sonic. And you don't want to be doing that. So just this boss, fairly similar. You just got to put him up to the fans, make sure he gets hit. Try and not get hit with the bomb. There you go. People in chat there saying you don't really need Ray with certain parts. You don't need Ray, but it's a case of partner management is a very important part of the Encore run. If you can get away with keeping Tails and Ray for most of it, you'd want to stick with that as much as you can. Ray being the primary with Tails being the secondary. But as far as I'm aware, Tails is only really needed for two things, and that's Oil Ocean and Titanic Monarch. I will probably be proven wrong soon. But Joey going into Hydro 2 and Zaxon coming up on Hydro 1 here.
Yeah, just still solidly holding on to that lead. Joebaby playing phenomenally. Zaxon, unfortunately, Zaxon's not really playing that worse by any means. He's just had some slightly unfortunate flubs happen between the lock that he got in Flying Battery and the death that happened at the end of Stardust 2.
Yeah, Encore mode is a very, very punishing run compared to the original or single character runs there. Anytime you're trying to do the boss skips or you're trying to do the fast strats, you run the risk of either soft locking or just losing partners. And most of the time, these guys would have already reset and just went, no, we're going for another run.
Look, Joey showing off a bit there with that backwards movement. That's always nice to see in a run. Confidence from a runner is something that I can always appreciate.
Nice, smooth going through the pipe there. So that level, you're meant to do a figure eight. You're meant to go down towards the left and then go back down towards the right. But as with classic Sonic 3, you can just jump through the pipes quite easily. So hopefully, I don't think Joey's actually going for the glitch of Hydro here. Unless he can... I'm not sure if it's happening. So this is a relatively new thing that was discovered where you can get quick hits on the boss, but I don't... Oh, there we go, yeah.
Oh,
so
yeah, no, he was definitely setting it up.
Yeah, he pushed Ray into the boss to get hit, and then the partner respawned right at the exact moment. And because the partner spawns in ball form, they can technically hit the boss. That was really nicely done, actually. This is my first time seeing that one. It's pretty cool. Hopefully. Unfortunately, Ray trolling Joey there. He was spin dashing with Tails to go above the screen to then set up for a number of bounces on the boss. Unfortunately, Ray decided to hit the boss at the exact moment that Tails was going to come down. So the boss had the iframes. And he's getting sent in the world's pool. No.
Literally, like, the last frame that he could have gotten a ring was very, very scary. You see Zaxon making quick work of Dr. Robotnik and making sure to try to end the stage on the right-hand side so we can transition out as faster.
Yeah, transitioning out as towards the right-hand side there if you can. If you don't and the boss decides he's staying over the left-hand side, it's not a massive issue. It's not something to get worked up about, but it is just one of those nice things if they decide to give you it. So, Joey is in the... pretty much the new stage of Encore mode. So, Mirage Saloon 1, normally you're on the plane with Tails and Sonic, but in Encore, nobody goes for a plane ride. Instead, they've all got this fantastic level to do. So we're going to be heading pretty much to the far right-hand side of the level as quickly as we can, because once again, we are going to partner clip our way through a certain area. So we're looking for a location with a flybot just up here. Ray, perfectly in position, immediately jumps up through the wall towards the train area, making sure you dodge the big ring, because we don't want no blue spheres. I said blue spheres. We're not getting blue spheres. It's Emerald Chase this time. There's blue spheres in there, but there's no blue spheres.
That clip saves, that partner glitch saves an absurd amount of time.
It is a ridiculous amount. I think that's actually one of the first ones that were discovered as well. But you are skipping about half the stage going through that one, and it is phenomenal what you're going through. But yeah,
ending that
it's
stage
like,
in a 101, phenomenal.
Yeah, that's an immediate like minute and 20-second time save, because you'd still be on the plane at this point. You would even be halfway through the level at the moment, and they're already in Mirage 2. So Mirage 2 is relatively similar to what it was before. We're just going to go in towards Heavy Magician. Difference this time, obviously, with the cutscene skips now being a thing where you can just press start. The boss skip for this one, where you send your partner to hit the capsule, is significantly easier because you don't have to worry about positioning yourself at the barrel. So you just make sure the partner hits the boss and skip the cutscene. So this is one of these things that was inadvertently or maybe intentionally made easier as a result of some of the Encore mode changes. Joey not having much luck here. He seems to keep falling down off the platform.
You know,
position himself correctly with the partner. Tails, get down. There you go. So wait for Tails to spin dash, send himself off, hit the capsule. Nope, not quite. Tails decided he wasn't playing ball today. Come on, Tails. Come on. There you go. So normally you would have to be over the barrel for this boss skip to fall down into the boss room, but because there is no cutscene to worry about anymore, you just skip ahead into Oil Ocean. So once again, we are just going to use Ray for the majority of this. We're just going to head up to the top route. You do not have to go down for the big ring anymore. You can just glide all the way up. It's absolutely fantastic. Like, when you're playing Mania, just play with Ray for a while. Get a hold of just how his flight mechanic works. It is amazing when you're able to pull it off successfully. Joey, unfortunately, getting the wonderful bounce off the spikes and getting crushed. He's going to restart the stage immediately, because if you restart a stage, you're put back to your last state but when you started, which means you will have Ray back as well. There's no checkpoint unless you've actually finished a stage. So he's going to just use this and redo the stage again, just so he has his two partners.
Yeah, and you know, that's a really smart call on the restart there, considering he does have such a significant lead at the moment.
There you go. He got the glide he was looking for this time. And again, you can just see that he's maintaining the speed with Ray's glide flight. Is it a glide? Is it a flight? Yeah, like it's a mix of both. But it's not as easy as it looks to be able to do that. If you hold down too much, you lose far too much height, and then you can't continue the flight throughout. But speaking of you tried stuff, here we go. So this boss, poor guy, still doesn't get a chance to throw a wrench or anything. He's gone. He's away. But the fun glitch that is possible in standard mode of the game, where the smog is on screen, it's now a default feature, because if you skip the cutscene, excuse me, if you skip the cutscene, you don't actually deactivate it. So, yeah, now everybody gets to have fun with smog on screen. So once again, just partner clips here. Just going through some platforms that aren't solid, skipping a fantastic chunk of the level there. I got to do that with my run. I did not know that existed. I'm learning things.
That was definitely an impressive way to save a large amount of time.
It is indeed. So we are going to see Tails here, and hopefully we are going to go for the Oil Ocean skip. The question is, is he going to be doing the Tails method, or is he going to be doing the Ray method? Because both of them have a way of doing it, but Tails is significantly easier in my opinion. Actually, no, he's not. He's going to do the partner swap method because this is Encore mode. I know which one he's doing. So he's going to position himself where he's going to mess around with some of the triggers here. So hopefully, spin dash, and then the moment you release the spin dash, you switch character, so you don't actually trigger the cutscene. You don't trigger the flag for the boss camera lock, basically. And then with Tails, just fly right over the boss. It's absolutely phenomenal.
Yep,
but
similar
Standard
to
Mania has a method of doing this as well. So this is not Encore exclusive. You can do this with both Ray and Tails. They have a skip. But the game is now going to be in a weird state where it's going to put you straight into Lava Reef. The timer isn't going to go. You can't swap characters. And yeah, the game is very confused because technically it hasn't started the level yet. So as far as I'm aware, I don't know if any of the guys actually take a death on this one or if they just play with the characters. Also, Tails is a bit unfortunate on that button there because he's just a little too short to hit that if you try and go for the quick hit on the button. It sounds daft. It's like, how can you do a quick hit on the button? It's like, I don't know. I have trouble hitting him with Tails. It's unfortunate. But there you go. So deliberately taking a crush death there. And then that starts the level timer. We've got Sonic and Tails now. The music will have started as well, hopefully.
And the classic duo of Sonic and Tails.
Indeed.
Fairly straightforward. The nicest thing about it, though, is whoever your main partner is, they retain all of their significant traits. So, like, if you were to switch to Sonic, Tails can fly you over things. And if you're just Tails, you can fly by yourself. With Sonic, you also retain the drop dash and things like that.
Oh no, we don't have music! No! Oh man! They're destroying one of my favorite songs! I don't know if I like Encore mode now.
At least we get to hear Lava Reef too.
Indeed. Hidden Palace. Probably one of the better zones in the game as well, in my opinion. It'll start once they get speed shoes. Yeah, once you get speed shoes, it'll trigger the sound cue, and it'll put the sound flags back to normal.
And there we go, speed shoes. Good movement through the stair section by Joey. We see Zaxon just finishing up Act 1 of Oil Ocean.
So he's going for the Tails clip here. I believe what he's aiming for now is there's a slight hole along the top here. Wait a minute, are they skipping the boss entirely? Wow! Okay, no, he didn't. Wow, okay, that's a different way of doing the boss. So you actually go all the way past the trigger of the boss and then go back in to re-trigger.
I wonder why we don't spin dash down there and just like finish the stage. I wonder if it would just
I imagine because you haven't technically triggered the level ending. This particular stage's level ending is the signpost, and it'll only appear when the boss is defeated. So if you've not defeated the boss, I reckon that would be a soft lock down there.
For sure.
Now that's a different method of doing that. I've seen a method with Tails where he drops before the boss room, not after the boss room. So Zaxon catching up here. He's in Act 1 as well. So he is gaining time. He is only an act behind. And we've got Joey coming into Lava Reef 2 here, and he's going to do another partner clip. Ta-da! We made it so you can't do the big ring clip that you do with Supersonic in there, but that's fine because the partner clip lets you do it as well. So exact same trick as before, just get your partner stuck in the wall and then switch to them and vertically jump away. taking the top route on this particular stage now instead of falling down the bottom. I sense a partner clip. We're gonna maybe hopefully use Tail. Oh, why did they kill Tails? I think he's gonna restart there. Yeah, that was unfortunate there. So having to restart to grab Tails back there. I think what happened is because he had no rings when he switched and Tails didn't have any invulnerability frames, Tails just had to take a death. Something that you don't want to have happen. You can still do the super clip, but you can't do it when you've not got super. These guys aren't super, so you can't do the super clip. It is the super clip, but it's with a partner instead. Partner super clip. Or the super partner clip.
Partner super partner clip.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll get back to this area this time and we'll actually get to see the bounce up to the top right. Immediately switching to Tails, not taking any chances this time. Using Tails' flight to get up there safely. A good call. So heading up the top right at this stage this time. Nice spin dash into the bottom there. That's really smooth. So coming towards the end of this part of the stage where we're going to run into Heavy Rider and Jimmy. Good old Jimmy the Motobug.
Jimmy's been putting in work for years, man.
That he has. And there's a hidden palisade here. So hopefully Joey will get a smooth fight with the boss.
If I'm not mistaken, there used to be a skip for this boss, right?
Not for this boss as far as I'm aware. Knuckles was able to come in. Knuckles was able to come and take this particular route if you wanted. He could do some stair clips and skip out half of his stage, but I believe we've always had to play this boss.
Huh, I could have sworn Sonic and Tails could fly up above it or something.
So into the anime stage, into Metallic Madness here. Again, still one of the harder stages in the game, and Encore mode just does not make that any easier. A fantastic little jump there by Joey. Again, you still don't want to fall down the bottom right if you can help it. It's still slow. Don't go down there. Oh, unfortunately getting hit by the buzzsaw there. It's not a problem. Quick recovery using the spring to get back up. Goodbye, Tails. It's interesting that this particular stage is still relatively similar to how it is in the standard mode. He says this is they're immediately going for the boss skip. Oh boy. Are they going for the boss skip or are they just getting a character? So they grab Knuckles and they switch to him. Yeah, they're going for the skip. Okay, so he's going for the skip. So Knuckles is stuck in the wall here. Using, switching to him so he can jump all the way over to the top of the level. Spin dashing away and then hopefully going to pass where the boss is meant to be. Finish the level and then get a glide with Knuckles. So now they have to keep gliding with Knuckles here, because if you fall all the way down before the level actually activates, you're going to die and you'll get sent back. So now Knuckles is dead, he's gone, but we are in Act 2, and you might notice that because of the death, the timer hasn't actually changed. So, thank you, Knuckles. You were great, but yeah, he's not here anymore.
It's pretty convenient with how fast it allows you to switch, though.
It does. It's very, as long as both characters are on the ground, you are able to switch pretty much immediately with them. What's great for this particular skip is just how they gave you the ability to do that right where the boss is. The fact that they placed a character unlock box and a switching box right there means that if you time yourself right with having only two characters, grab Knuckles, you are guaranteed Knuckles for this clip.
Yep.
It's phenomenal. It's amazing. Again, the color palette on this one just reminds me of old school Sonic CD on this one. Just with the kind of browns.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I know the original is meant to be green, but it's just like bad future level. Here we go. So on to the boss. Just kill the bosses as you can. Release as many of them as you can as well. And then hopefully be able to send Tails up. Because normally you would use partner Tails to go hit the boss off screen, but now you can use actual Tails as you can switch to him. We'll see if Joey does that. Yep, going for it. Is he going for the flight? Nah, not really. He still got him fairly quickly. You can hit him much higher up on the screen, but you run the risk of being bodied by a bullet.
And Zaxon not super far behind.
No, he's not. He's definitely maintaining that the time that he has. It's just unfortunate that with the 2 attempts that he had, they ran into the issues with it. So he's just going to time it right here on the Tails icon. He's now got Knuckles in right. Is he going to go for it? Yeah, he's sending Knuckles down. Oh, switched a bit too early, I believe. There we go. He needs to switch because he needs Knuckles to position Ray correctly. And then once Knuckles gets back up the top, he'll have to switch to Knuckles there. So now Joey is in Titanic Monarch. This is partner clip the stage, and it's also the stage where you need to have Tails because his hitbox is super important for one of the areas coming up here. Because if you partner clip and you don't have Tails, your character is too tall and will end up getting stuck into the wall. And then you'll just have to restart the stage. So this one up here, I believe, is where you'll see him. He'll jump with Sonic. He'll switch to Sonic, but then he'll wait. And then switch to Tails. Actually, I don't think it's that one. I think it's the one following up here. Dun, 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 dun. There is one of them, unless I've already passed it. Now, this partner clip coming up is my favorite. Random place, no wall, no nothing, and then you switch, and suddenly, you're at the boss. Like, that is my favorite partner clip in the game. I love that one. It is so good. Like, how did they manage to figure out that the boss is just directly up there?
Yeah.
And Red Eye had a bit of a makeover here. He's green eye. He's put on some contact lenses.
Yep, he finally got his dry eye fixed. Guess that's what happens when you get that Sega money.
And then coming into Titanic Monarch 2 here. So again, the 4 areas that you'll need to go do, we are not going to do those in order like we're supposed to. In fact, at the very first area here, we're going to use partner clips to finish an area without even visiting it. So normally people do bottom left area first. We're not even going to bother with that. We're just going to get Sonic clipped up into the wall as standard here. And then as we jump all the way up, we find one of the hidden exits and we're just going to head straight down into it. So that is bottom left already completed. Didn't even enter the area and it's done. Because we're hitting the different triggers, the game doesn't care if you actually do the level. It just wants you to hit the trigger. So unfortunately getting a little bit trolled by the bounces here. Not bouncing him up the way he wants to go. There we go. Then we got another partner clip here. Tails stuck up into the wall. Half of the area there just missed away. Getting into the big jump and just going to head all the way over across. Going for the secret exit as usual. And falling straight down, that completes the bottom right. So coming into the top left one, we don't even bother about that. We're just going to get Tails. Go right Sonic, get in the wall. And then it's like, oh look, we found an exit, that's fine. And then that finishes that area too. Like, this stage is hilariously broken.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely fantastic.
Bro.
It's so good as well. And like, the thing is, it's relatively easy to do these ones in Titanic Monarch just because of how the level is positioned. It's fantastic how broken this is. So that's about a 3-minute stage done in almost half the time with these clips. It's phenomenal. Now one of the more controversial changes coming up with the boss fight here. The boss fight has been changed now where regardless if you hit the boss 4 times or not, you will be visiting Heavy Gunner at least once. So you will visit one of the heavies if you do the optimal boss fight. However, you can still mess it up and may have to visit 2. But Joey here, he has the lightning shield, he should be fine. He should be all good on this one. Zaxon, I believe, going for the clip. Yeah, he's fine. He's got it as well. He's got tails there just to get him back out. So at this point in time, this is Joey's to lose. He just has to make sure that he goes for the boss fight properly. Doesn't matter if you hit Heavy Gunner there at all. It doesn't speed up or slow down the fight, as far as I'm aware. He's got another, I believe, another 7 hits to go here. 1, 2, 3, 4. He's got another 2 hits to go. He only had 6 left. So we are coming up on GG for Joey. 1, 2, and that is GG. That is a fantastic time. That's about a 45-minute. Like that's an insane time for Encore mode there.
Considering his PB is a 44:19, like that's extremely
great
close for in a marathon run.
Yeah. So there's the bad ending. Mr. Heavy King himself has the Phantom Ruby. No, that is an absolutely fantastic time. I mean, you've seen it's a great performance by both racers there, and it just goes to show you just how difficult and how punishing these glitches are if you don't pull them off correctly. Worst case scenario is you're restarting an entire stage, especially for Flying Battery there. You just saw him, Zaxon, he was in the lead, he tried to get the boss skip, but just unfortunately didn't get past the camera in time. And that he had to go back to the start. There's nothing he could do about that one.
And with Zaxon being so close, I assume he would want to finish, so we're going to let him power through this.
I imagine he would, yeah, I believe so. I mean, he's definitely right there.
During this time, I would like to say shout-outs to Brad and Hunty and Stealth and all those guys who worked on this game. It really came out as a phenomenal package, and I hope I speak for a lot of people saying that I hope you guys get to make another Sonic game in the future.
In Sonic Mania 2, it's like printing money. Come on, Sega, you hear that? Money.
We'll wait and see what they go with. Like, I would definitely be happy for a Mania 2. They've already proven they can make a good game.
I think it's funny that Streets of Rage 4 got announced because I was talking with Brad, and I told them that they should make it. And then ends up another company made it.
I mean, to be honest, yeah, to be honest, the more people that they can have making remakes or new entrants into these old school games, the better, because it's like I'm all for HD remakes. Yeah, sure, fine, we can relive our past glory in HD, but if you bring new entries into the series, that's even better.
We have Zaxon coming in on the final boss.
He definitely is here. He doesn't have the lightning shield though, he only has a standard shield, so it's going to be slightly harder for him. Taking the damage boost here, hopefully getting inside the hitbox, which means he's protected from the LXSA and still able to get the good 5 hits there. Again, going to take another damage boost just to make sure that he can grab the next set of hits there. Going to get grabbed by the hands and go in to meet Heavy Gunner.
In the game, congratulations to Joey on the win for Team Sonic.
Definitely. Thank you, Joey. Team Sonic needed that. And that's GG for Zaxon as well.
GG, Zaxon.
I think that might just be, I think that might be either a late 46 or a very early 47 there. But regardless, as you can see with this, both of these times are significantly faster than what any character can do in Mania mode. Encore mode is definitely the fastest way to play Sonic Mania.
Yep, GG, good race to both of the runners. And on that note, race, we'll start getting set up for the next game. And on, thank you to everybody for viewing. Stick around. Up next, we have Sonic Adventure DX. Yep, we have the adventure block and like kind of like a little mini 3D block here. So the next 3 races we have going on, we have Sonic Adventure DX by Dage4 and Nixer, and that's going to have Ardric on commentary. We have Sonic Adventure. Yeah, I don't know, some guy who plays video games, I think. No, you did really good job on commentary, man.
The best
Sonic,
commentator we have.
we have Sonic Adventure 2 Battle Hero Story. It's going to be Draco Dan and Tommy ASY, and that'll be commentated by Alec and I believe N Passat.
Nah, unfortunately he can't make it. So
okay. And then we are also going to have Sonic Forces, and that'll be any percent, and that'll be the Blue Mania and Tsukimos. And those, if I'm not mistaken, are two runners from South Korea. Phenomenal players. It's cool to see players from all over the world playing the Sonic the Hedgehog games. And there is a commentator. Let me look real quick. I just need to find.
Yeah, you're gonna wanna watch the upcoming runs here. Again, most of them have really high tier players in them, and especially with Blue Mania and sorry, I've probably butchered the name, but that the Forces race is going to be phenomenal. It really is.
Yep. But all right, on that note, we're going to allow for setup, and you folks stick around.